So I'm going to show you how to get your shape to move without you touching the keyboard. So in other words, all on its own. Now, for order for this to do this, you have to have working variables. So it needs to 100% move left and right and up and down. So if it's wonky when you test this, go back and double check a step. Right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is if we're going to make it move, we have to do something again and again and again and again. So we're going to use something called the forever loop. Now, a forever loop runs forever, and it's called a draw loop. So you're going to go draw equals. It looks really wonky now. That's completely fine. That's to be expected until it's inside the loop. So you'll notice I've moved it. So I've got a first brace bracket. That's what these are called. And this is the start. And this is the end. So anything between here. So anything in between is repeated forever. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my code. So I'm going to highlight it all. I'm going to go Control X, and I'm going to paste that code inside. Now, if I hit restart, it should almost go back to normal. The only thing that's missing, you notice, is all of my outlines. And that's because one of the very last things we did in our loop was that we actually removed our outlines. So if we go back up to the top of the program, all we have to do is we add in an outline. That's black, and we have it back to normal. Now, we want to make it nice and neat. So you'll notice before we had an indentation. So rather than going like this and going tab, 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 which is time consuming, you're just going to highlight all of your code, not including that final brace bracket, and you're going to press the tab button. That's the button on your keyboard right above the caps lock, and it's going to indent it for you. Now, the reason we do that is because one of the number one issues people have when you're doing a loop is that you have a mismatched brace bracket. So if you get rid of that one, for example, you'll get an error that looks like this. That means that you've missed your first brace bracket. And you'll get a missing bracket if you get rid of the one at the end. Unmatched. So you've got to make sure that you're not accidentally deleting your brackets there. All right, so now we have something that's running forever and ever and ever. And we've got some variables that control our program. So if we give those a wiggle, you'll see it starts to smear, but we are drawing that again and again and again. So all I need to do to get to move on its own is we reassign the value of x position. So I'm going to say x position equals itself plus 1. So when I do that and hit restart, you'll see every single time it goes through that loop, it adds to itself. So it adds 1 to itself each loop. So if I want to get rid of that smearing effect, all I need to do is I add a background. And then we've got a character. Every time we hit restart, it's kind of moving along our screen, and we're not touching it. We can also start to do even cooler stuff. So not only can we redefine x position, so reassign it so that x position equals itself plus 1, so we don't lose any values, we can also do things like get the follow the mouse. So we can say that our y position can equal a special variable, which is mouse y, which is basically the mouse's y value. Now, if we do that, you'll see that when we hit restart, not only is it moving, as we move our mouse up and down, it's moving up and down. So as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you are following the programming standards. So everything that's inside that draw loop is indented. If you want to make it nice and neat, you can minimize it as well. Every time you want to see it again, you hit that restart.